2K Sports, coming to you live on this Saturday night. This is Kevin Harlan along with the rest of our 2K broadcast team. Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke. Our starting lineups will look at the matchups here and who we'll see for our starting five for both teams. First for the Spurs, Parker and Danny Green are your 1 and your 2. And in the middle, out of Brazil, taken with the 28th pick back in 2008, the 6'11" pivot man, Thiago Splitter. Then there's Kawhi Leonard, and it's Duncan in at the 4-man position. And for Los Angeles, Nash and Bryant in the backcourt. And holding down the middle out of Central Michigan University, the skilled and ambidextrous 7-footer, Chris Kaman. Then there's Nick Young, and it's Gasol in at the power forward position. And it's out of bounds to the Spurs as San Antonio retains possession. Now let's find out what head coach Greg Popovich had to say to Doris Burke. Doris?
Obviously he has a lot on his plate when it comes to defending against Kobe Bryant. I asked him what he might do, and he said not much. He's one of the league's all-time best scorers, and no matter what you seem to do, he finds ways to get on the scoreboard. Kobe might be seeing a lot of double teams here tonight, guys.
And thanks for that story, Doris.
Well, let's start with the positive in the Lakers postseason. They did make it. That's all that can be said is their dramatic passing of Utah and the Rockets down the stretch to take the 7th seed was really the lone highlight of what would be a quick exit from the playoffs for them.
Open shot, Green can't get it to go. So Los Angeles will take it the other way. Gasol passes to Nash. Nick Young on the wing. Lakers working the ball around now. Back to Gasol. Dishes it to Young. Shoots. Offensive rebound. Knocked loose. It's stolen by Duncan. And a fast break now for the Spurs. Leonard kicks to Green. Rejected by Kobe. And Nash, here we go. Young covered by Parker. And again, no good by the Lakers. Going back to the Lakers, swept in 4 straight by the Spurs, and none of the games really that close. And Spurs, Steve, just dominated them in every sense of the word. Injuries didn't help either.
No, they didn't help, but the Spurs just outplayed whoever was on the floor for LA. And I think a lot of people thought the Spurs would be a good first-round matchup for the Lakers, but that notion was quickly squashed. San Antonio just totally dominant.
Bryant. It's stolen by Green. It's 3-on-3 on the fast break. Got a piece of it. And that's out of bounds. San Antonio will retain possession. We're just about 2 minutes into the first quarter. Duncan dishes to Parker. And fouled hard that time. He'll get to the line and shoot 2. They get Steve Nash.
You survey other point guards in the league and ask them who their toughest assignment is, and a lot of them will tell you it's Tony Parker. I mean, his ability to weave in and out at the speed he does just drives would-be defenders mad over the course of 4 quarters. Parker is always in attack mode.
Free throw good by Parker. And Clark, you mentioned the penetration ability of Tony Parker. He really has become the focal point of the Spurs drive and kick offense, Steve. So fun to watch.
Yeah, you talk about his speed and quickness, but it's really all about the overall skill level, the ability to finish it in the lane, the knockdown jump shooting, the free throw shooting also improved, but it's incredible how well-rounded Parker has become.
Is he the fastest point guard, you think, in the NBA?
I would say yes.
And here's Young from the arc. That's the bucket. Young's got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game.
That is not enough coverage. Got to do better than that defensively. Basically no coverage. I mean, defense did not look very good there.
Once again off the mark by San Antonio. For Los Angeles, they've gone just 1 for 5 from the field to start the quarter. And it's out of bounds. The Lakers able to retain possession here.
He had no choice but to lunge for that pass to stop it from getting through.
Well, that was a good job. It could have been a quick bucket if he doesn't knock it out of bounds there.
Just over 2.5 minutes played here so far in the first quarter. Gasol passes to Nash. Young for three. Good, and the assist goes to Nash. Young's got his second bucket tonight.
The defense sagged off, and, he did not hesitate to rise up and bury that three.
Parker with it. And stolen by Nash. Kobe goes in, and he misses the go-ahead basket.
Well, those chances are almost always 2 points for him. I guess the defense did what it had to do to bother him.
I thought San Antonio really was an outstanding team. Fun to watch, excellent at both ends of the floor. But one statistical thing that stood out was they defended at a high level without committing a lot of fouls. That takes discipline and smarts.
The Spurs making a switch here. Diaz checked in. San Antonio with the ball. The drive by Green. Tries again. And there's the call by the official. They'll count the basket here following the goaltending call.
He got a great read of where that miss was going, and that allowed him to be the first guy to it and get the putback.
A different look now for San Antonio. Matt Bonner comes in for Tim Duncan. And it's Ginobili in for Daniel Green. And we're approaching about 3.5 minutes played in the first quarter. Right side Gasol. Hill left side. Takes a big height bounce and goes in. Hill's got his first bucket of the night. Clark, as you said about that Spurs team, just a team that does not foul very often. Doesn't give away 3 points. And, Steve, they led the league in fewest fouls last season.
Well, that's part of Greg Popovich's mantra. I mean, don't give up anything easy. You can't guard a free throw, obviously. You can't guard a fast break. So important for the Spurs to avoid fouls and take care of the basketball and be efficient offensively, and that helps their D.
Ginobili, that's good.
I don't know who was supposed to be on him there, but clearly a mistake by the defense.
The Lakers trail. A prayer from beyond half court is off the mark. Parker against Kobe. Parker kicks to Ginobili. That one goes. Count it.
Boy, that was a thing of beauty by Parker.
Los Angeles has gone 2 of 4 from beyond the arc to start the game.
Manu Ginobili is really one of those electrifying all-around players. I mean, he's as fun to watch as any guy in the league. He scores, he defends, has a nose for the ball. He does everything, and usually he packs a bunch of production into short stints of playing time. He's now in his mid-30s. The question becomes for him is health. And how much longer can he go at the level he's played at throughout his career?
Blake with the steal. And even 3-on-3 break. Johnson dishes to Blake. Rebounded by Manu Ginobili. And for Ginobili last season, his shooting percentages dipped just a little bit. Now 36 years old. He's, breaking down, it seems like on a more regular basis. Is he starting to fade in your eyes?
Sure, he is, but he's still capable of playing out of his mind on any given night. I mean, and that's what you want from a guy like that at his age. You're not going to get it every night, but can he continue to help you win games? No question, Ginobili, he showed that last year.
Now, here's Diaz. And lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot 2.
You look at Ginobili, and he's slender and doesn't scream athleticism, but he is nimble, and nobody in the league is more of a contortionist going to the basket than Manu.
And Manu Ginobili, Clark, as you mentioned, an unconventional driver. Left-hander that throws guys off.
Yeah, it's kind of a herky-jerky type maneuver, but it's that side step. We call it the Euro step. It might as well be called the Manu step these days. James Harden copied it from Ginobili, but it's so hard to stay in front of him.
And that one goes in. 2 from the line that time.
You know, last season, an NBA owner, and we won't name who it was, mentioned that the Lakers could potentially amnesty Kobe Bryant. Now, he knew that he is still a top shooting guard and plays like a superstar, but his contract really is up there at almost $30 million this season.
There's 38 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Here's Bellinelli. Ginobili with a screen on Johnson. It's Parker outside. Good. Parker's got 5 points so far.
Boy, that was a rugged screen set there, fellas, and the defense didn't even try to go through that one.
Blake passes to Hill. And that'll be the Lakers as it goes out of bounds. Lakers retain possession. Back to Johnson. Ginobili with the steal. And a fast break now for the Spurs. Ginobili leading the charge.
Looks like they're going to have one of those days where they can do no wrong.
Well, they haven't done anything wrong so far. Double-digit lead already.
To stop the run. Farmar, no good. Good if it goes. No good. And as the first quarter wraps up, already a double-digit lead. Spurs lead by 11. Live from the Staples Center, you're watching 2. Welcome back, everyone. We're ready to get going again as this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports continues. Players are topped off with Gatorade, hydrated, and ready to get going again as well. And taking a quick look here, guys, at the hustle stats for the Spurs.
Well, I think the defensive aggressiveness on display here has caught them off guard, playing airtight defense and coming up with the steals.
Yeah, and I've noticed also that their quick hands have led to a lot of forced turnovers. They're getting some points in transition as a result.
Parker kicks to Diaw. Back to Parker. Ginobili outside. There's the triple. It's hauled in by Los Angeles. He feeds it to Kaman. He kicks to Hill. Tipped away. Diaw with the steal. And let's now go to the sideline. We'll catch up here with Doris Burke. Doris?
Guys, Tony Parker summed up his role this way. Quote, the last 2 or 3 years, it's become my team. Pop is challenging me to become the franchise player. On Tony Parker's greater role, Tim Duncan says, quote, the load has switched over to him. It's a big thing, and he's handled it great. Guys, he's delivered one of the top 10 players in the league last year.
That's right, Doris. Thanks.
Well, Pop and the team really believe in him. I mean, they trust him, and he's rewarding that trust. You know, he's really adept at keeping possessions alive by hitting the boards and cashing in on some of those putbacks.
And I also can't get over how much energy he expends rebounding the basketball. He goes all out on the boards every single night.
Splitters checked in for San Antonio. Duncan comes in for Boris Diaw. Parker dishes to Duncan. No good. Lakers trail by 9.
Well, you talk about the sustained greatness for a future Hall of Famer, Tim Duncan. How about this number? 13. That's the number of consecutive seasons to begin his career in which Duncan was named All-NBA and All-Defensive Team. 6 more times than anyone else in league history. Enough said. End of story. First ballot Hall of Fame.
Spurs making a switch here. Green's checked in. Second quarter of basketball, just over a minute and a half played. Going back to Duncan, probably more important to him than the individual accolades, Steve, have been the team successes during his time in San Antonio.
No doubt. I mean, Duncan is just a winner. He's gone to the finals now 14 years apart, first in 99 and then again in 2013. Pretty remarkable.
Bellinelli, he's checked in for Manu Ginobili. Here's Kaman. And again, the Lakers no good.
Well, the three-pointer really isn't his game. I'd like to see him get closer to the hoop.
How about that? Breaking out the Statue of Liberty on that dunk.
A nice way to pad that lead a little more.
Yeah, you got that right.
Well, I think this is one of the more amazing stats in sports when you think about it. No matter the season or the roster, the Spurs just seem to find ways to win 50 games. They've done it 14 straight seasons now, which is off the charts.
Here's Bellinelli, guarded by Blake. Bellinelli passes it to Parker. He dishes it to Bellinelli. Back to Parker. Spurs working the ball around now. 4 on the shot clock. Here's Bellinelli. Gets it to go. Bellinelli's got his first basket of the night. And Clark, as you said, the Spurs last season hitting 50 wins for the 14th consecutive season. By the way, that's an NBA record. Second closest were the Lakers with 12 straight, Steve, from 79 to 91.
Yeah, 58 wins last season for San Antonio. Greg Popovich calls it corporate knowledge, just the consistency that comes with the experience of the group. And they've been together so long, particularly that core, that I think it allows the Spurs to really kind of cruise at times during the regular season.
Manu Ginobili's checked in for Tony Parker. San Antonio leading by 15. And Bellinelli kicks to Green. And out of bounds as the Lakers gain possession.
Such a careless pass. You've got to keep your head in the game here.
About 3 minutes played so far in the second quarter. And the officials signal the backcourt violation. Not very careful there.
He's not doing them any favors making those kinds of mistakes.
Especially now. I mean, every possession's so important for him.
Spurs have gone 3 of 7 shooting the ball here in the second quarter. Now Bellinelli. Ginobili outside. For the 3. It's hauled in by Los Angeles. Gasol's got his 5th rebound in this one.
Things have kind of gone south for him here in the quarter.
Kicks it to Blake. From deep 3-point range. Rebounded by Bellinelli.
There's some good defense for you. I mean, for somebody who's as good at shooting the 3 as he is, you need a defender who's equally adept at guarding against it. That was well done.
Well, then they picked the right guy to put on him.
Ginobili dishes to Bellinelli. Good on the 3-point shot. Bellinelli's got 5 points so far.
Well, I tell you what, Greg Popovich, a really impressive leader for the Spurs. He's able to keep all of his players locked into what's best for the team. Has a military background, played basketball and studied at the Air Force Academy before serving 5 years in the Air Force. And you know some of the leadership that he brings to his position was learned from his past experiences.
Lakers trail by 18. Pass to Gasol. Shot to stop the drought. And again, the Lakers no good.
Well, he had a defender draped all over. Not really the best shot there.
Well, not the shots you hope for when it's well contested like that.
And Clark, you mentioned Pop's time at the Air Force Academy. That's where he got his start in the coaching ranks.
Yeah, 6 years as an assistant there. He was head coach at Pomona, an assistant coach with the Golden State Warriors and the Spurs, and eventually moved into the front office in San Antonio. But wow, what an amazing run it's been for him. 17 years as the head coach of the Spurs.
And Doris Burke has a report for us from the sideline.
Well, fellas, Greg Popovich Popovich, known for his sarcastic, sometimes contemptuous answers to some of the questions from us media members. He said it seems to entertain everyone but his wife. She tells him to cut it out, be a grown man, and show some maturity. But he said, I can't. I simply can't do it. Guys?
Yeah, he's a piece of work, isn't he? Thank you, Doris.
You know, last season, a lot of folks had the Lakers picked as the super team in the West, the team that would maybe challenge Miami and LeBron, but from the start, it just never was a cohesive group and really had one of the most disappointing seasons in the Lakers' history.
Pass to Green. Parker outside. Hangs in midair and converts on the double clutch layup. Parker's got 11.
Now there's something for the top 10 highlight reel right there. A layup can be just as sweet and as pretty as a dunk sometimes.
Clark, as you said, the Lakers had a lot of lofty expectations put on them, but you never know what's going to happen when a team is put together. And Steve, they just couldn't reach that bar that was set so high for them.
Yeah, the expectations were so high, Kevin, but injury issues cost them all season long. Nash, Howard, Powell, and of course Kobe with the Achilles at the end of the year. And that unit only started 7 games all season together, so they never really were able to develop any chemistry.
Ginobili outside. Ginobili off a pick from Splitter. There's a good screen. Parker kicks to Splitter. It's stolen by Johnson. Puts the lead pass in front of him. Ginobili with the steal. And through the first half, a pretty lopsided affair. It's San Antonio.